Howdy folks, thank you for clicking on the video. Welcome to the channel. Really glad that you are here. And by the way, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I sure would appreciate it if you would click that button right down there. Click subscribe, click that bell, that way you get the notifications. And of course, a thumbs up would always be appreciated. I have a little bit of a confession to make. If you look at these guitars on the wall behind me here, and you look over there, you see all those guitars, you might notice a lack of, well, you know, super shreddy metal machine kind of guitars. You don't see any super Strats. You don't see any double locking Floyd Rose style vibrola systems. No, why not? Now, it is true that those kind of guitars, well, they're really not necessary for the kind of stuff I generally play, you know, blues licks, classic rock stuff, things like that. It's just not really the genre, I guess. After all, I don't play a lot of metal. I'm certainly not a shredder. I never really needed a guitar like that, but over time, I convinced myself that I just don't like those guitars, and indeed, I convinced myself that I hated them. After time, especially since I started this channel, and after a whole lot of introspection and soul searching, it just kind of occurred to me that, well, I might be just a little bit afraid of them. I mean, after all, I think I would probably look a little bit ridiculous playing a hot rod, super shreddy, a flashy guitar like that, you know, with my mediocre licks. Just kind of a little afraid of them. But you know what, my friends? That ends today. This is a Jackson Pro Series DK Modern Ash with what they call a baked white finish. It has an ash body with a 3-piece maple wingay maple bolt-on neck and a matching headstock with Jackson branded Goto tuners. There are 24 nickel silver frets and offset pearloid dots on a bound ebony fretboard with a 12 to 16 inch compound radius. It has a 25 1/2 inch scale length. There are loom inlay side dots and a heel adjust truss rod. It has 2 Fishman Fluence open core PRF COC active pickups, 1 volume control, 1 tone control with push-pull, and a 5-way blade selector switch. And of course, a Floyd Rose 1000 series double locking vibrola bridge. I should also mention that it comes stock with Dunlop strap locks. There are 4 things about this guitar, 4 issues that are normally things that would steer me away from it as far as looking for a new guitar. And it's just, you know, the biases that I have acquired over the years, the preconceived notions, and whether or not they're valid, well, that's what I'm trying to find out. So I'm going to start with the first one, and that's thin necks. Now, this isn't super thin. I think the neck on my Ibanez Iceman, it's a cheapy Ibanez Iceman, but it's an Ibanez Iceman nonetheless. It has this issue, the thin neck thing, and the next one I'm going to get to on this guitar partially. I'll explain later. But part of the reason why I hardly ever play that Iceman is because the neck's just so darn thin. I've always been used to a chunky neck, and I just felt like, you know what, I can't play this. I play it for like 5 minutes and put it down. Never really given it a chance. However, lately, especially since I bought the SGs that I have, well, they have a different shaped neck. They certainly don't feel like my Les Pauls, and they are thinner, and well, I've kind of gotten used to playing those necks. After playing this guitar for a while, yeah, it took a little bit of getting used to, but I persevered, and all of a sudden, at least this neck, which I don't have the exact measurements on it, it's thinner than a Les Paul neck, that's for sure. It's thinner than a Strat neck, but it doesn't feel that bad. I don't know if that is a preconceived notion busted or not, but it kind of feels that way. Now, the next thing is the fretboard. I've never been too keen. Once again, going back to that Iceman of mine, super flat fretboard. It just feels super flat to me, and it's very uncomfortable for me to play. Just not what I'm used to. Again, I learned on an old vintage Telecaster, which, if I'm not mistaken, was a 7.5-inch radius, and I've kind of gotten used to anywhere between 9.5 to 12. So on this, it's compound. It's 12-inch radius down here. It gradually changes, flattens out to a 16-inch radius up here. And again, after playing it, I'm starting to understand a few things. I can see why shredders, especially up here, like a flatter fretboard, because to be honest, I usually don't spend a whole lot of time up here in this real estate, but I've been trying to a little bit more lately, and I think it feels kind of comfortable. I'm starting to see the point why a shredder would want to have a flatter fretboard. So what I've learned is, well, a compound radius can actually be a good thing, and flatter up here in the higher range, that actually is kind of good. That's completely new, and it was a little bit of a shock to me. So there you go, another one of those preconceived notions kind of busted. A little while back, I posted up a poll on YouTube asking, what is your favorite pickup? And I didn't include every choice of pickups in the poll, but just some of the more common, I guess. Single coil Strat style pickups, Jazzmaster pickups, P90s, passive humbuckers, and active humbuckers. My whole purpose for that poll was just simply to see, how many votes active pickups would get, active humbuckers. And well, what do you think? Now, I can already tell you the passive humbuckers kind of ran away with it. I expected that. Kind of surprised. P90s did very well in the polls. But how many votes, or what percentage of the vote, do you think the active humbuckers got? Go ahead, pause the video, go down there in the comments. Give me a guess. Tell me what you think. How many votes did the active pickups get? I kind of was surprised, because active humbuckers did not get a single vote, not one. I expected it to get a few, but no. Now, as for myself, I've never been a fan. I've never been attracted to them. I've never seen a reason for them. And the main thing that really kind of kills it for me is right back here. It's this little door right there. You open it up, and what do you see? There's a battery in there, and you got to put a battery in your guitar. Just another thing to worry about, and for at least what I play, I just never ever saw a purpose for it. That said, this guitar has active pickups. The Fishman Fluence open core, what is it, PR something, COC. I know a lot of people, and if you are a person who swears by your active pickups, I'm not criticizing you. I'm not even criticizing the pickups. They sound okay, and That's in the first position, which is the bridge humbucker mode, and then pull out the little deal there. That's the another voice for the Fishman Fluence. Second position, which is single coil bridge. Middle position. It occurred to me, middle position, that's both pickups, single coil, intercoil deal. The fourth position is the bridge humbucker, or bridge single coil. And then fifth position, humbucker in the neck. And then with the push-pull knob out. So, yeah, I mean, they sound good. And by the way, for the dirt, I'm using a J-Rocket Archer into the LPD 68. Anyway, as far as the pickups go, they sound okay. Am I sold on active pickups? I for one, am not. I don't really see a purpose for me. That's not speaking for anybody else. I'm just not impressed enough to be stimulated to put a battery in my guitar. Although, like I said, I like how these sound. And then there's this, the Floyd Rose. And I don't care if you're talking about a Floyd Rose or a Kaler or a Goto, any kind of double locking vibrato system. It's not for me. Even after playing around with this guitar for a while, I've enjoyed messing around with it. It's fine, but for what I play, it's just not necessary. That's not to say that if you are a vibrato daredevil, a tremolo trickster, you like to play your EVH and Joe Satriani and Stevie Vai licks, I can honestly understand why you would really like this. It certainly does the job for what I do. A well-cut nut and saddles, it's going to be perfectly fine. But when you're doing the wild and crazy stuff, I can honestly say, and don't expect anything here. Like I said, I'm not that kind of player, but yeah, you can make it growl. That's kind of cool. Yeah, it's staying in tune. Like I said, I can see why you would love a double locking tremolo system, or at least a one that works well. This one seems to. I can see why it would be a good thing for that kind of player. For me, I can take it or leave it. And I do have a couple of things that really I don't like about it. For example, palm muting. You know, I tend to do a lot of palm muting, and all this stuff kind of it hits right back here on my hand, and it's not comfortable. So there's that. And then let's talk about, which is something I haven't done yet, is do a string change. It certainly makes it more difficult to change out the strings on the guitar, to do a setup on it, all that stuff. You kind of have to buy, well, accessories. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute. For me, I think this is more trouble than it's really worth, but that's just me, and I can certainly see why some players would absolutely love their Floyd Rose. I'm going to move along to things I really like about this guitar. So I'm not going to lie to you. I got this guitar, my plan, do a couple of videos, this one of course, and maybe one more, you know, me doing my first string change on a Floyd Rose. That's something you can all laugh at me as I muddle my way through that. I think I might have it figured out though, so maybe not. But yeah, just get it, do the videos, move it along, because it's not my thing. It's just not. Just one problem though. It's an awful lot that I really like about this guitar. I love the ebony fretboard, not gonna lie. But before I get into the aesthetic stuff, the build quality is fantastic. From the fretwork, I've not been able to find anything on this guitar that I can criticize as far as the build quality. So there's that. Again, I said I like the ebony fretboard. I like the binding all the way around the headstock there. That's really nice. I like the heel adjust truss rod. I'm surprised how much I actually like the lumen lay side dots. I like the way the pickups sound. The whole idea of putting a battery in my guitar, there's that. But they do sound good, so I'm not going to complain. Even the Floyd Rose, I don't really hate it. It's acceptable. So now that poses a problem. Don't really want to get rid of it. I kind of like it. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep it. Thing is, remember I said about needing accessories? Well, the fact that I'm going to keep it, I went ahead and I bought the accessories. Let's see. Oh, well, let's start with this. Hidden back here, I got the old hex hider. Yeah, just to have it sticks on magnetically to your tuners. When you need to loosen up the nut, you got it. Everything's good with that. When it comes to doing string changes, make it easy on myself. Got the trim block to support the back here against the spring tension as you take the strings off of your guitar. Now I realize you can just do one string at a time, but when I do a string change, I also want to clean and condition my fretboard and other maintenance stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to be pulling all the strings off, block the trim with this. Now I looked at this for a long time, trying to figure out how in the heck do you set the intonation. Now I still don't know exactly how it works because I haven't, like I said, I haven't done it yet. But apparently you use one of these little tools here. Hopefully that'll focus. Yeah, like I said, I haven't figured it out yet. I know it connects back here somehow. I'll figure it out. I'll make a video. Why not? So yeah, I bought all the stuff that I need to maintain the guitar, so I'm pretty much committed to keeping it now, aren't I? Well, it happens. Anyway, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed my journey into my first super Strat shred guitar. With that said, be good. Let's all just be good.
Take care.